In SAP, user administration is very important because everything revolves around who has access to what, right? It's a
Mm,
financial system, you understand the criticality. So if the access is wrong, it can directly lead to a fraud, financial misstatement, anything. So uh, right, if someone asks you what which is the most important, most critical control in SAP,
mm,
your answer should be that it's user access management.
okay.
Okay.
Yes, gotcha.
So SAP controls access. I mean, in SAP, access controls are performed using a user plus the roles that are assigned to them, and then the authorization object that you mentioned about.
Yes.
So the life cycle goes like this. First, we create the account, then we assign roles to them, then we make sure, let's say if someone has left, we lock the account and then probably delete it also. So
Mm-hmm.
it depends on which step do you want to, I mean, whether you want to delete or not. So it's a choice. So out of creation, assigning roles, which is modification,
Mm.
then probably locking inactive employees and then deleting the employees who have left the company. Which stage do you think is the most risky one?
I thought it was locking, but I thought it was modification, but it's deletion, because deletion is the permanent.
Deletion and locking, yeah, right.
Yes. Okay.
It's both deletion and locking.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So whenever we are talking about access management, I'm just giving you an overview, then we'll go through the slides and all.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
so whenever we talk about access management, generally there are two things, three things actually.
Mm.
First is access provisioning.
Mhm.
Make sense? Whenever you talk about access, what comes to your mind? You tell me.
Whenever we talk about access, is firstly management comes to my mind, like management approval, and which
No,
is
no.
which
Uh, what are you managing?
you are managing who gets access to what.
Okay, so that's access provisioning.
Okay.
You would call that because access management has so many things in it. Now you are breaking into going into more detail. Okay,
Okay.
so when you say access management, it covers at least five, six things. Out of those five, six things, first one would be access provisioning. What next?
I think the second thing would be access. Oh, you define the roles and the permission that the user can have based on their access.
That's access modification.
Oh,
Next.
I think the next step would be to
Mhm.
create the credentials that the user has, and then
Sorry.
I think the next step after creating the permissions that the user has according to the role, you'd put like
That's already covered. Um,
okay,
you are missing out on a very key control. Just think about it.
let me think.
We just discussed it. Think about it. Think about it.
Okay. Does it have to do with the authorization objects and fields?
No, think at a higher level. Access provisioning, then you talk about access modification. What comes next?
What comes next, according to the life cycle?
Not according to the life cycle, but
Okay.
what do you think should come? I mean, whenever you talk about access, two, three things should come on top of your mind. Try.
Okay. Um, access provisioning. Is segregation one of them?
Segregation we generally cover in change management.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one that I'm thinking of is defining the roles and the permission according to the access that you've been granted.
No, now I'll tell you, you are missing on a very key control, which is access deprovisioning,
Oh,
right? Removing users. Whenever
okay.
someone talks about access provisioning, access deprovisioning should come just, I mean, should come by default from you.
Okay.
Understood? And
Okay.
then access modification would come, then access review would come, then password complexity would come, then privilege access would come. So in this order.
Okay. Wait, isn't deprovisioning supposed to be at the end?
See, there's not a, I mean, we are not going by the chronology. What we are
Okay.
going through is the importance of those controls. I mean, not even importance, but things that are pretty standard and common that people would want to hear.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
So now you tell me which would be the most important access management controls?
Access management controls.
Yeah.
I would say management approval, um, timely access management in the event of, let's say, an emergency, um, logs, like monitoring and reviewing the logs of after someone has had access to something. And yeah, those were the ones I can think of at the top of my head.
Yeah. So whenever we are covering the SOX controls, we'll look them in detail. But whenever someone asks you about access management, at least three controls should be on top of your mind, which is access provisioning, access deprovisioning, and access review.
Okay.
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 Okay. So now we'll read through it. SAP User Administration controls who can access the system. Users are assigned roles that determine their permissions. Okay. User life cycle includes creation. When you join a company, your account will be created. Modification is when you will be assigned a role. Locking, let's say if you have been inactive for 3 months, someone might review your access and just lock the particular account to make sure that if you had not used it for 3 months, maybe you don't need the access anymore. And then deletion, so let's say when Vanessa leaves that particular company, the HR would tell the particular team that, hey, this person has left, so I'm going to delete your account. Okay.
Okay.
Now coming to user creation. So SUO1. Okay. This becomes a very important T code in SAP. So this is the I would say the heart of SAP security. Okay.
Okay.
So uh, why do we use SUO1?
It is. Oh, okay. Go on.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is that the full question? So
Uh,
it's
You
SUO1 is
tell
a.
me whatever you understand.
I understand that SUO1 is a T code or transaction code used in SAP, like to create new roles, modify them, lock or unlock them, and assign roles to a particular user. And then the
Uh,
administrator will enter the personal information and login data after running the SUO1 T code.
right. So this is where your account is being set up. Okay.
Okay.
You will have an initial password, your login email credentials, basically. And here the most critical part of SUO1 is the roles and profiles tab. Okay. So this is
Mm-hmm.
where when we look at the video, I'll cover that. I mean, you'll get a better understanding, but this is where we actually attach the permissions that let a user do their job. Okay. So roles and profiles become very important. Okay. So
Okay.
what an auditor does is, so let's say if I have come for an audit, I have to look at the access management. I will pull user detail reports from this particular transaction to
Mm-hmm.
check uh, which users are there, are there any privileged users, or whether the user was appropriately approved before it was granted the access. So those sort of things. Okay.
Okay.
So generally, the tabs that we see there is the first is the address tab where name, email comes. Then the logon tab where user type. So there are multiple user types in SAP as well. We are going to cover that. Uh, okay. Then someone would define your user type, your password, and your validity date. So how long does Vanessa needs access to this particular platform? And
Okay.
then roles tab, which is again very critical, which what actions can you do, right? Okay. So I'll try to explain. I mean, so for example, when you open a user, let's say if there are, I mean, when you run this particular T code SUO1, you see a list of 10 users. Okay. So you click on Harsh. Uh, you selected one particular user. So what, just try to imagine, we'll cover that in the video, but as of now, just try to imagine you have run the T code SUO1. You have gotten a list of users on your screen, and then out of those 10 users, you are just trying to pick one. You picked Harsh. What it will show you is the username, my SAP username, my validity. So when I was granted access. Okay. Now it becomes bit complicated. Try to understand. Okay, try to understand. These are a few concepts which will come handy for our next sessions, but try to understand. Let's say, um, do you understand the meaning of HR listing, a human resource listing? I mean, have you heard this term before?
No, I haven't heard the term.
Okay, so let's say, for example, in Apple, every year, in a year, or even in a month, let's stick to a month. In, let's say, in April of 2026, how many people have you think would have joined Apple, the company? I mean, a rough
Um,
number, a rough figure.
Joined as an employees or like users using their products?
Employee.
I would say,
Why we are looking at employees? Because if they have access to SAP, I mean,
mm,
employees are the ones for whom I would need to test the access, right? Because they are the ones who can commit a fraud or something. So that's why employees, always employees.
okay. Let's go with 200.
200, okay. Fair assumption. It could be more. I think it could be somewhere around 400, maybe 500. But yeah,
Mm,
200 works. So when you pull the HR listing for, and those 200 that have joined in April, there must be a documented record of people, how many have joined, which department, what's their name, who's their manager, etc., etc., etc. So there are, what I'm trying to get at is, when you pull a human resource listing, okay,
mm,
you will, let's say you went to Apple for audit. You told the HR team that, hey, or the whoever is from the internal audit side, you told them that, hey, I want the HR listing of your employees for the month of April. Okay,
mm,
they are going to share an Excel sheet with you, which will have the list of names of all the employees, of all the people who have joined in the month of April. There
mm,
are records that are kept, right? You understand that. It cannot be that Apple can say that, hey, we don't know who joined in April, how many
mm,
joined or who joined, right? So
mm,
that's how you kind of correlate the HR listing with SU01. Try to
mm.
understand. What does
Okay.
SU01 tells you? When this account was created, right? It will give you
Mm,
a account creation date. So
mm,
let's say, for example, Vanessa joined Apple in on 15th of April 2026. Okay, with me. When did
yes.
Vanessa join?
Okay. April 2026.
Date also. Tell me the date.
14th of April 2026.
Okay, 14th of April. And in SAP, when I'm looking at SU01, okay, I'm seeing that Vanessa's validity, account validity, which is basically when the account was created, that shows as 10th of April. Okay.
Okay.
Should this raise an eyebrow?
Yes, it should because it's the wrong date.
Why? Why is it wrong?
Maybe it was a mistake.
Systems cannot make mistakes,
Uh,
Vanessa. I mean, until you deliberately want them to make mistakes, they won't. Why is it a mistake?
Maybe it's because it is not matching the SEO one is not matching with the HR listing.
How?
Because the HR listing is like the name, the date and the name, like Vanessa on the 14th of April, and then the SUO one is like when the account was created and when the information was added. So maybe those two things are not correlating together.
Right. So if you haven't joined Apple, how can they create an account for you?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense.
If I haven't joined Apple, can they create an account in advance knowing that someone by the name of Harsh is going to maybe join in April? They
No.
cannot, right? So
Yeah.
now you understand why a HR listing is very important. So whenever we used to go for audit, we
Mm,
always, I mean, even when I'm going for audits today, the auditor
mm,
comes and first asks me that, hey, give me the list of all the new hires during the audit period. Give me the list of all the active employees who are currently in your organization, and give me the list of all the employees who have been terminated during the audit period.
okay.
Okay. Now you
Okay.
will tell me tomorrow, note this down as well.
Okay.
Why do we need these three listing? New hires, existing employees,
Mm,
and terminations.
okay.
You understand what termination is, right?
The accounts or the users that have left the company.
Left the company, not accounts, because you are asking for a human resource listing, right?
Yes.
Humans are not, I mean, these are only people, right? So you're asking for a list of people who have left the company in April. What would you do with that? Can you make a wild guess? Similar to what we looked at access provisioning.
You would look at the access deprovisioning details and as well as the reasons of why it was deprovisioned.
How? Just try to make sense between what are you going to use the HR listing for.
Well, the HR listing has the list of names of when they joined, then the terminated list has the list of where they left.
So,
So I guess you would look at the time period that the person was in the company, if you ever need that
mhm.
for anything, as well as the reason why they left the company.
No, the reason is never important.
Okay.
See, whenever you are going for any audits, or
Mm,
even an auditor has come to you, they are always and always looking at the dates. The date should correlate. If
mm,
someone tells me in the termination report, I can see that Vanessa's last working day in Apple was 15th of April, and Apple's policy say that any person who left the company, their account would be disabled within 24 hours. So
mm,
ideally, Vanessa's account should be logged or deleted on 16th of April, right? By
mm,
16th of April. But if I run this particular code, SUO1, and I see that Vanessa is still an active employee, there is no locks on her account is still active.
mm.
Should I raise this as an audit finding?
Yes, because it goes against company policy.
Right. So how do I know that? Using the HR listing.
Okay.
Now you understand the importance of HR listing.
Okay, I get the gist.
It's
What's the
very
homework?
critical.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, no, I was gonna ask like what's the homework because I think you listed three lists I must look at.
Yeah, yeah. Why do we need new hires listing? Why do
Mm,
we need existing employees listing? And why do we need termination listing?
okay.
Okay,
Okay, I got that.
okay. Yeah. So we'll just cover one T code today. Uh,
Okay.
we'll start with the next one tomorrow. So as it says, SUO1 is used to create and maintain users, administrator, interpersonal information, and login data. Roles and profiles are assigned to define access, very important. Auditors also check whether privilege access is appropriately approved. So once you go into a user, you can see all the details that are there. Let it
Mm,
be. So this is how it would generally look like. Okay, user ID. It could be any. It's for example, I have mentioned admin and user O1. It could be Vanessa and Harsh as well. Harsh, admin, etc. Okay, we'll come to the types of users in upcoming sessions. I
okay.
yeah,
How many types are
user
there?
types in
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
we'll
Okay.
cover that. So right
Mm,
now, just read it as dialogue, okay, and
mm,
then you see the valid from. Okay,
mm.
what date? This date should be when, I mean, after the time when I joined the company, right? Even if not on the date. Make sense?
Okay, gotcha.
If Vanessa joined on 14th, this date cannot be 13th, right? It could be 14th, 15th, 16th, maybe next month, but it cannot be prior to your joining, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then valid two is, for example, right now, if you are an active employee, I can make this as 2099 as well. Okay, because you are a active employee right now. But once you have left, right, then I
Mm.
would need to change this validity for you. Make
So
sense?
the 99 is for current employees.
99 is generally we keep for current employees. As you see here, this is generally the trend that SAP uses. So 9999. I mean, if you if you if you are there, they'll just put you for 1,000 years.
Okay, okay.
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 Okay, so we'll stop here today. We'll start from the next T code SU10 tomorrow.
Mm. Okay. How many T codes are we gonna cover?
These are just for access. We are not going to cover much.
Mm.
I'll try to cover them. I mean, there are around 4, 5 here, which I'll
Mm.
try to cover quickly because after this, I'll get into a module for SOX where we'll look at the T codes in very much detail. I mean,
Okay. I
whole
see.
loads.
Okay. Okay. I see there it says module 8. Is that part of the 6 modules that you listed in the list at the beginning?
Yeah, it's part of that, but I'll cover that. These slides I've used somewhere else, so I haven't edited them
Okay.
much. But yeah,
Okay, that's all right.
okay. Okay.